I am getting more lost by the day, folks. I really am. I can't keep up with it at all. I don't know how the TV people can. I don't know how anybody at home can. Honestly, it's Eddie again, isn't it? Eddie, I had him only 2 days ago. He's back on the channel again. I'm struggling to cope with it, so how you're coping, Eddie, is beyond me. It's another day today. He's been on the TV today. He must have got out on the left-hand side again today. He had the frock on and the lippy. Whereas he had the frock and the lippy on the other day, and he was called SUZY Eddie Izzard. Not just Susie or just Eddie, it was SUZY Eddie Izzard. Today, he's got a frock on the lippy again, but he's just introduced as Eddie Izzard, not even as Susie. And he's dressed as a Susie, not as an Eddie. And when they introduced him on the show, they said, let's welcome Eddie Izzard. She's completed 32 marathons in 31 days. And I'm thinking, you've just introduced him as Eddie. You've called him a she. And you said she's run the marathons. Now I know Eddie, I'm calling him Eddie because that's how I know him, has run marathons in the past for Comic Relief. I know that. I remember seeing it. And I thought it was a fantastic feat. And I always thought I'd seen him do it as Eddie, as a bloke, as a normal bloke would, with the old trainers on and the old running gear. I've never remembered seeing him with the lippy and the frock on, or skirt on, or dress. Well, he wouldn't wear a dress, would you? You know what I mean? As a woman. I've never seen him. This Susie character for me, I only first heard it early this year or late last year. This Susie thing is a new one on me. I know he's dressed as a woman before, but the Susie name's only come into fruition in my mind the last 6 to 12 months. And he used to call himself SUZY Izzard. The idea of the one a couple of days ago that I did, a couple of hundred have watched it now, he was calling himself SUZY Eddie, which I didn't get. Susie Joanne, Susie Jill, Susie Jane, I'd get. Eddie Albert, that's one for you, that's an actor that. Eddie Graham, Eddie Steve, I'd get. Men's name with men's name, woman's name with woman's name. Susie Eddie I didn't get, the same way I wouldn't get Eddie Susie. But today, he's just dressed like Susie Eddie was the other day. Or so she just, I don't know what it, do I say here, she, if he's dressed as she, let's go she. She's dressed as she was the other day when she was Susie Eddie. Today she's only Susie. And it says, Eddie, no, she wasn't Susie, she was Eddie. Dressed as a Susie, or dressed as a woman, but they called her Eddie, but they said her. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? And they said she's run however many marathons. I've just been online thinking, I don't remember that. Anyway, they say when you go online and say, did Eddie run as a woman to these marathons or as a man? You can't actually find out. And on some of the pieces you read, she's just completed however many marathons. But then on some pieces you read, he's just completed so many marathons. I think reading between the lines, and I might be wrong, I think he's done these marathon challenges before, and I think initially he always was Eddie and ran as Eddie. I think, even though he's been known to put the lippy on and put a frock on in the past, he's never done it as a Susie or a woman's name. He's never run it as a woman, and he wasn't putting a frock on as it was part of his act now and again, or an act, or he'd go out like that now and again. But now I think it's 1 day on, 1 day off, or 1 week on, 1 week off. I think. I'm not even going to say Susie Eddie or Eddie Susie because it's confusing. Let's just say the first names. I think 1 week is a Susie, or 1 day, and 1 week or 1 day is an Eddie. Or as I say, it might depend on which side of the bed he gets out of. But today was a Susie day. For all they called him Eddie. 2 days ago was a Susie day. For all they called him Susie Eddie. And I'm thinking, it's just getting weird. And I'm thinking, I think it was on Loose Women. Is that Kay Adams, I think it was, introduced him. I thought, is she reading off an autocue? And I thought, has this been real? I thought, she could get this wrong. She doesn't know whether she's coming and going there. Well, Eddie doesn't, Susie, whoever it is, don't know whether they're coming and going. You know, they don't. So if they don't know and they're doing the dressing up, how's the pretenter's going to know? And I'm thinking, she wants danger money for this, Kay Adams, because if she makes a mistake, it'll be all over the papers and the internet that she's called in this or called in that. She said this or said that. And you don't know what's right for wrong. I do wish he'd become an all-time Eddie or an all-time Susie, or maybe 2020. Let's start next year, 2024, do an Eddie all year. If you need a middle name, pick a bloke's name with it. 2025, do a Susie all year. Have a year of Susie. And again, if you want a middle name, get a woman's name to go with Susie. It works. Susie Eddie doesn't. Eddie Susie doesn't. I'm sure they don't. Well, I don't think they do anyway. And as I say this about calling him, oh, I don't know. I'm getting lost by the day, by the week. I'm finding it really hard to understand where it's all coming from. I do wish I wish he knew what he was, and then we'd all know, and then we can all say it right, and then none of us can get in any trouble. But I don't know what he run the marathons as, and him or I don't know what his name was at the time. Eddie, Suzy, Eddie. I don't know. But I just watched it today on the loose women, and I felt really uncomfortable. And I felt uncomfortable for the presenter. I thought she could be getting this wrong, and I thought, did she get it wrong? Was she supposed to call him Eddie? Suzy wasn't mentioned, but as I say, the Lippy and the Frock were all on for everyone to see. But she still called him Eddie and still said she, Eddie. I'm lost, folks. I don't know. If somebody can tell me what, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't take it. Maybe it shouldn't bother me, because maybe it doesn't bother anybody else, but I just don't understand it at all. I don't know where it's all going. I don't, honestly. I can't work it all out, what's happening. With him, I mean. I don't mean in general. I don't mean gender and all that palaver. No, that's another story for another day. But I just thought, I don't know. It's getting worse. I just don't know.